Hi, this is John with The Evolving Car. And this is 5 things I dislike about my Nissan Leaf. Number 1, battery capacity problem. Now I have a 2012, so it's one of the earlier cars, and I bought it used. It's off a 2-year lease program. It's actually originally from California, so it was in a hotter climate, and I believe the heat is the factor with that. And I didn't have a scanner, so I don't really know what the battery capacity was when I bought it. It just had 11 bars on it, and it dropped down to 10 as soon as I drove it like a couple thousand miles. So I'm basically at 73% as of early February 2017, and that's far from 100. And so yeah, I think it's the battery. The battery does not have a climate control or anything. There's nothing to keep it stable as far as temperatures. No heat, no way to dissipate any heat or anything. So I think it's primarily heat is what causes the problem. Because I've had no problems like in winter months here. The last 3 months that I've been scanning the car about every 1,000 miles, it's stable at 73%. So it seems to be pretty good in cold weather, and I don't have any power losses. I mean, the car picks up and drives really quick. It's good acceleration and everything. But yeah, just the battery capacity. It's just something about this Gen 1 car. You just don't quite have that thoroughly thought out engineering, I guess, as far as the battery cooling and such. So yeah, it's my number 1. This is probably the biggest complaint by far. Everything else is pretty minor. But yeah, this is something that they've rectified it to a certain degree in the 2013, I believe. But yeah, probably the Gen 2 car would be where it's at. I'm sure when they have the next gen, the 2018 model, when they got the 200-mile version, that would be, I'm sure they'll have a much better battery system. Number 2, quick charge infrastructure. Yeah, the car came out in late 2010 as a 2011 model, and yet here we are. It's 2017 now, February, and it's like there just isn't that much infrastructure. I mean, I don't mind the range of the car. I mean, I get about 60 miles in cool weather and probably about 70 in warmer weather. And, that's fine for all the driving I do around town. I don't even have a problem with that. It's just that, but when I do want to drive someplace, unlike gas stations, which are everywhere, there's really no infrastructure quite yet. The Chademo chargers are available, and there's a couple places that are, actually about 4 places that are maybe 6, 7, 8 miles away in either direction from where I live that I can charge up for free, actually, Nissan dealerships. But not all Nissan dealerships are the same. I mean, some of them have free charging, and some of them try to charge you $10 a charge, which is psychotic. It's like at 10 cents a kilowatt to charge up the car. It's about 17.4 kilowatts is what I estimate my pack is at right now. And so if it's about 16 kilowatts of actual usable capacity, it's like, it only takes me about, that's about $1.60 to charge. I mean, that's going to get you solid 60, 70 miles. So it's still pretty efficient and everything. But yeah, but as far as the quick charger, I mean, it's just like, it's just, you can charge up like 80% in like 30 minutes at a lot of these quick chargers, the Chademo chargers. But it's like, it just doesn't, there's just not enough of them around. You can't go anywhere. There's no consistency. There's nothing. It's just, and it really hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, from what my understanding is. So anyway, it's just something that's kind of a big minus for the time being. But I mean, all that's going to change in the future. Number 3. Yeah, this car, it's based off the Nissan Versa, and that's more of a basic car, so one of the problems with that is the rear suspension. I mean, my other 3 cars I have all have multi-link suspensions all the way around, and this is the only car that has kind of this basic suspension that's, very 1970s economy car. So, it's like, like the first generation Golfs and stuff, which I had a 82 Scirocco for many years. Actually, my first car was an 82 Scirocco, and that had the same type of suspension, trailing beam rear suspension in the back, which is a semi-independent. It's not independent. So when you're driving, it's okay most of the time, but when you get into any kind of serious handling conditions, any kind of curves, any kind of hit a bump or something in the middle of a curve, and it kind of bunny hops over instead of having you know, a multi-link is going to keep you planted to the road nice and tight. And yet, so this car doesn't have that. So it's one of those things, even though it's a great fun car to drive, it's just, you know, and I love driving, I love hitting the corners and everything, that's what I like to do. But it's like, you know, it's just, yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, once you have an independent suspension and you're used to that, it's like you just don't want anything else. So number 4, visibility. Yes, visibility is one of those things that this car, I don't know what is wrong with this, but these giant A-pillars right here are just absolutely the worst placed you could put those things. I find myself, every time I'm making a curve, here's a good example right here. I'm turning left, I can't barely see that curve. I have to like move my head, do a crazy head motion to see where I'm going when I'm making a left turn. These giant A-pillars are just right in the way. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just a general thing. I mean, I'm sure all gas cars, you know, similar type designs are going to have the exact same problem, but it's just a general thing about, so, you know, it's nothing to do with electric, obviously, just the design of the car itself. You know, I'm sure that every Prius and every other types of similar type vehicles that are gas have this giant, I mean, there are like supplemental restraint, I mean, there are airbags in there and everything, but it's just like, God, you don't have to put the damn thing that funky position. It's just crazy. It's really a hassle. Something that you would think would be nothing. And I get out of this car, I get in my Tesla, it's like, you know, it's like a regular car. You can see everything is great. I get in my Infiniti, look out, everything's great. I get in my Mini Cooper, everything's great. But this guy right here is just a man. It is just a little thing that just really is annoying. And plus, when you're backing up, you can't see diddly squat. These giant seat pillars in the back, you can't see out when you're backing up. It's crazy. I mean, it does have a rear view camera, which pops up here, but it's still a little bit hard to really get used to that though too. I mean, I just like to look over my shoulder and back up and see where I'm going, you know. But it does help out. It makes it, you know, keeps you from hitting stuff to a certain degree. And then number 5, yes, the last thing. I'm sure I'm not the only one to agree with this, but the styling of the car, you know, there's a Leaf right here. The styling of the car, though it's modern and everything, and it's nice, and it has a lot of interesting kind of design features too, like the boomerang tail lights I kind of like, which are, you know, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's generally, like the interior design I have no complaints about at all, but the exterior styling, I mean, that's, man, there's just some funky curves going on there that it's just, and the headlights, I mean, good God, what is with the headlights, man? I mean, it's just like, man, I mean, that's not the way to sell cars. Here's an i3. It's just not the, yeah, it's just not the way to sell cars. I mean, honestly, geez, make a car look good. I mean, at least try to make some sort of effort. Once again, take a cue from Tesla. They know how to do it right. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say some of my, everything else, I mean, it's minor. It's just like those 5 things really stand out to me. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative, and many more videos to come.